Imagine standing at the crossroads of a demanding career in the construction industry and the personal turmoil of an unexpected anxiety attack. This was the reality for Hardy Antolis, a seasoned professional with over 25 years of experience, ranging from field engineer to project manager. Faced with intense stress and isolation while working away from his family in a remote town in Alberta, Canada, Hardy encountered a pivotal moment that would redefine his life and career. The anxiety that gripped him was not just a personal crisis, it was a wake-up call. It illuminated the often overlooked aspect of leadership, the profound impact it has on personal well-being. This realization propelled Hardy on a passionate quest for knowledge and self-improvement. Diving deep into leadership, mindset, health, spirituality, and emotional fitness, Hardy transformed his life, emerging as a fervent advocate for holistic leadership. Outside of his professional achievements, Hardy's life is a rich tapestry of experiences. A devoted family man, an avid traveler, food enthusiast, and content creator, he embodies the message he preaches, balancing work and life without sacrificing one's needs or passions. Through his social media and YouTube channel, Hardy aims to build a community of like-minded professional dads, emphasizing that success in life is measured not just by personal achievements, but by personal fulfillment and happiness. We hope you guys enjoy this episode with Hardy Antolis.
And it's just a continuous journey. So it's a distant stars on a distant shore. You're never gonna get there. Just accept that truth, but just keep, it's a worth it journey. It's a worthwhile journey. And oh, you got a Spartan hat. There you go.
The Spartan race we did, what was that, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I did mine 2 years ago in Red Deer. I signed up for the one in, I think in June or August. I got to start practicing again.
Yeah, the first thing we did was we did the Tough Mudder in what, 2019?
I think 2019, yeah.
It was. And then the dates just didn't work out for us to do Mudder again, so we decided to do Spartan race, and we're immediately faced with how undertrained we are for that.
Look at this. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, mine hanging up over here. Very nice.
They're so 2021.
They're so different.
Yeah, those are not the same events. I feel like you can
just you can just push through Mudder and just like with your head and you're good. But like to complete all the Spartan race things, I feel like I needed to do those grip strength little things at my desk for like 10 years before I was ready.
It's a lot of grip strength stuff.
I went through the first ring, and then the last one, they have another ring. I was like, I took the burpees.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. Got no more grip left.
Yeah. No, towards the end there, my grips were non-existent.
Well, that and you were on the verge of passing out for the entire thing for some random reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. Probably just because I was in really bad shape. That's probably what it was.
Which one did you guys take? The 5?
No, it was the 10.
Oh, the 10. Oh, yeah, you guys went for the 10. It's like, I don't think I'll do the 10. I'm still doing the 5 right now.
We should have done the 5.
Yeah, we should have done the 5. Yeah. And I guess the weird part and why we chose to do the 10 for Spartan was it was a 10-kilometer Tough Mudder, and we were like breezing through that. It was way easier. I mean, you're still running that distance and there's obstacles and things you have to do, but it's way more mental than it is physical. So yeah, we thought we could handle the Spartan race in the same distance, and we could not.
Oh, it was tough.
Yeah, very tough.
Even the 5 was tough. I was like, the running was fine, and then the obstacle was like, ooh, it's a different thing.
Yeah,
I know. When they added in some of the stations where instead of doing the 25 burpees or 20 burpees, you could just like run the lap around the cones instead. I was like, oh, thank you. I can just run more than.
Yeah, those made it a lot easier.
All right.
Well, yeah. Well, Hardy, want to talk about kind of what you've been doing recently with your podcast stuff and the story that is a part of your journey here. It seems like you were working in construction and doing something for a long period of time, and then something shifted you into building the life that you currently have now. What was
Mm.
that? What was that shift like, and what was that moment like when you realized you had to do something different?
Yeah, something came out last week. Like I told you, I was on vacation, right? So, and I took my brother around, and then, enjoying the view, enjoying all the scenery, and just not thinking about work. The thing that come up in my mind is, when there's one construction company I used to work for a long time ago. And the first thing we did every time we got people into the company during the orientation is, we asked them, why do you come to work? Why do you come to work? And the idea is that, we want everyone to recognize that, they come to work to earn the money so they can have the lifestyle, to support their lifestyle and their family. And at the end of the day, you don't want to get hurt, and you want to work safe so you can go home every day back to your family and enjoy your lifestyle. And it kind of got me thinking, same thing with like you asked me, right? How I make the switch. It's this thing that when I ask people about what do you choose? If you have to choose one between work and life, what do you choose? It seems like it's an obvious answer. It's like, oh yeah, obviously, I'm gonna choose life. But at the end of the day, we see people actually delaying their life and work their ass off until it's like, yeah, I'm gonna postpone my life. I'm gonna work first until I can't work anymore, and then I'm gonna enjoy my life at the end. Like, and for me, what happened was it was 10 years ago now. I was thinking about it. Yeah, it was 10 years ago now when I was out of town by myself working on a construction project. In construction, there's this thing about you go where the job is. You don't choose. Like the job company win the job, then they put you on it, then you go.
Right.
So I was on this small town in Alberta. It's a 6,000 people town, really small town by myself. And one night I just could not sleep. I was like, what the heck happening? Right? It's like it was summer, it was like close to 40. I was like, oh, maybe I got a heat stroke. And then went to the doctor and it turned out to be an anxiety attack. I never had it before. Been working in construction for by that time 15 years. I thought I'm never gonna have anything like that. So, you deal with all the stress. You're thinking
Right.
like I done them all, didn't deal with them all. And I guess it caught up. And then the doctor gave me this, sleeping pill. Took it for a day or two, and then I started having this suicidal thought. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Dang.
And at that time, it was like I was miserable. You cannot sleep. You cannot think straight. And it got me thinking, like, is all this thing worth it? Pushing myself to the limit. And also, it's like, no, my family is number one. My health's number one. Why do I push so hard, right? Like, yeah, obviously I have to provide, but at the end of the day, is this worth it? And also, it took me to take a different perspective on how much leadership in corporate, have so much what do you say? Like so much it either affect, I guess, impact on people's life,
Yeah.
not just at work, but when you get to the point like what I did, like it you take it home with you, and then impact everything. They impact you, impact your health, impact your family, impact your relationship with your wife, with your children, and everything. So that's the thing. So it got me to start take a look at how I want to show up to be a leader myself. So that's when I start shifting how I approach things. I start taking leadership training, coaching training, and start learning more. I've been in personal development for by that at that time it was like 15 years, started in 2000. But then it started really get me shifted into how I not be the leader that that got me to that point at the time. Like there's a lot of the leaders out there that talk the good talk and but they didn't walk the good walk, and trying to change that. Yeah, and then that's what's kind of started, with all this journey. Is like, hey, you get a message that what do you prioritize, and there is a way to get there, but don't wait till the end. Don't postpone your life, right? It's like
Yeah, I think a lot of leaders, or I guess businesses, really kind of keep you in with the promise of money and benefits and things like that. And you're right, a lot of people have that mentality that they're going to work their entire life or most of their life and then enjoy those later years. But if you're not keeping yourself healthy, both mentally and physically, if you're not
Mm.
focusing on your family and keeping those things as a first priority, then your job can come in the middle of all of that. It can get
Yeah.
you burnt out. It could get you into negative health situations. And I'm glad that you realized what was happening, and you're making a decision to help serve other people, because I think that message needs to be heard more now than ever. You know,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the thing that, especially in construction, right? It's all, I know a lot of people talk about gender equality. We're trying to get more women into the industry. At the end of the day, it's still a lot of man's world type of, tough environment thing. So you don't talk about your feeling. It's like, you don't
right?
talk
Yeah.
about emotions. Like it's just one of those things. You basically just toughen it up. Um, and it's so normal that, when things happen, you don't talk about it. You just deal with it.
If you were working in a different industry, do you think you would have talked about your emotions earlier, or did you even notice that all of that anxiety was building up?
It didn't. That's the thing. That was totally a surprise because when it happened, I was like, why am I so alert at midnight? Couldn't put my body to sleep. And I actually, went back out from the place I was staying and took the truck around town at like 1 o'clock, and it just tired myself out. And it was so weird, and I was so scared. Like it was scary. It's like what happening? Especially about ourselves. And the good thing is that I have done personal development and I recognize the issue. And I start, it's like, yeah, when the medicine thing give me that kind of thinking as well, I'll walk around places and it's like, why don't I just end it? It's those kind of thinking. It's like, it's easy, just end it. It's like, no, it's that's not me. And it because I've done those personal development, I caught myself thinking about those kind of thoughts. Like, this is not you. And I stop it. I went back to journaling, went back to do a mindfulness meditation and get myself out of it. And unfortunately, I don't know how many people still stuck in that mindset that, hey, I got nobody to talk to. I'm just gonna toughen this thing out. And there have been some people that are close to home, that has some issues, and like I think I shared with you, so, last time we talked, the friend's son from church, has some issues from work and some issues with with his health, and ended up taking his own life. It's like it's those kind of messages that keep on reminding me. It's like, hey, if you have something that you can help people with, even one people, get the message out, right? Like people, something that keep on coming up is like, you don't have to do life by yourself on your own, right? And a lot of our society and culture is teaching us that, yeah, toughen it up. You can do this. Just stay, just keep put your head down and keep doing it. It's like, sometimes you need help, and I don't know what your experience, but in my experience, like, sometimes there are people around you that don't understand what you're going through, and they are not at the level that they can help you. But there are people out there that can help. So like that's why I took, all this learning to be a coach, and trying to offer my help, and to talk to my friend, and I know that that's why your message is. That's why I connect with you guys on
Yeah.
your podcast. It's like, hey, let's leave the world a better place. Um, than while we're here, and help as many people as we can. Right. That's what I think. I think in for myself, I believe that I was put on the earth for a purpose, and there are some people that only me can reach them. And if I don't take on that, then I cannot reach those people. And same thing with everybody else. There are people in your circles that only you can reach, like whether that's, a small circle like your family, your friend at work, and so we start with a small conversation, right? How do you do? There was this one thing I want to bring up. It was this funny thing. I don't know if you guys heard about, maybe it was a month ago, on the X, which is Twitter. Elmo, the Elmo, right?
Yeah.
Elmo posted in X like, "How is everybody doing?" He got million people responded. It was like, "Oh, I'm struggling." People are responding to his tweet. It's like, "I'm struggling, Elmo. Life's not good," and it's millions of people, and it's just pouring out, and that's to Elmo. You know, it's like, to me, some people say, "Oh yeah," it's funny. It's like, to me, it's like that's how desperate people are. They got nobody to talk to.
That's true.
They need that space to just talk, and they need that other person to just talk, and they don't know where to go. And Elmo just posted, "How's everybody doing?" Elmo just checking in.
No, I totally agree with you, Hardy. I think a lot of it, especially in these male dominated industries, they do feel like there's nowhere they can go, or they shouldn't need anywhere to go because they're a big, powerful, masculine man who can control all and take care of all their own problems. Do you think that there's there are places for everybody to go if they were just vulnerable enough to ask? Or is there more of a need for people to listen than there is for people to break down that wall so that they can actually share what it is that they're struggling with? Or is it a little bit of both, do you think?
I think a lot of companies, one of the message I try to get out is, a lot of this company offer that, the counseling, and they usually like, "Hey, we sign up with this company and you can talk to them. It's all confidential." I don't know really the statistic of how many people actually use those services. And that's one of the things that every time I do my videos, like, "Hey, the services exist. Go talk to them. Like, at least you have somebody that you can talk to, just as a resource. It's better than nothing." And and also is the culture that I'm trying to change is, as a leader, a lot of people talk about, one of the characteristic of good leadership is being vulnerable. But I've been in construction industry for many times, like for 25 years, with I think 6 company right now. And not too many people actually, come and say, "Hey, how do you do? Let's just talk about you. Let's not talk about work right now. Let's just talk about you. How do you do?" And that's what I try to change. Like when I go to work, once in a while, I'm just gonna pull my people in, my engineers or my superintendent, just, "Hey, how do you do? Let's just talk about, life. Are you okay? Everything's good. And that's what I find, that I actually can connect with people on totally different level, and it improves our, connection at work. We trust, we build trust, and it just showed that we're still human, and that's one of the culture I try to change, in the workplace, especially construction. It's tough to break into that because they're not used to it. And I'll once in a while I'll put a post in my LinkedIn about, "Hey, this happening, being a service leader," or talk about vulnerability, or changing the culture. It takes work, but like I said, somebody has to do it. It has to start somewhere. I think construction specifically is one of those older type of industry where people have been doing it for so long, and that's how they've been doing it. So they're not planning on changing it anytime soon. It takes a while to change. And for other industry, I think it's they're getting better, just because I think a lot of the leaders. I haven't experienced it myself, so I don't know the real truth, but I just, some leader talk about it. Um, and and that's why I joined, like, John Maxwell, right? He talk about, he teach leadership basically. Do you guys know John Maxwell, I suppose?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So he and a lot of the people, when I go to the conference. They're leaders. They have their own business, and those are the thing that I want to get connected to all those people, and that's why I want to get this message out. Just connect with people like you, and just keep on putting the message out, and hopefully, eventually, it'll caught on, and it'll cause a little shift, and then hopefully, then it build up. And that's the thing. It's hard. It's hard. It is challenging that we talk about it, we teach it, but unless the leader actually start practicing it, taking the initiative to talk about it, then I think eventually it will change. But I know mental health is one of those things, right? You've been talked about now. Like we have a mental health day, and people start talking about it. Until it takes a while, I'll say, but we're pushing. I think the whole society is making that conversation becoming more normal, just to start talking about it. And hopefully eventually it'll become the norm to start talking about it, and leaders, hopefully they'll learn the lesson, and they take the initiative, like I said,
Well, you're doing it, by talking to your leaders in your workplace. That's a big part of it, because one of the things that Tyler pointed out with this question is like there's all these resources where people can go and talk to other people, but do they know if they're there, or are they willing to be vulnerable enough to reach out to those people? And I think the other part of this whole equation is education, right? You were able to catch yourself in the middle of that anxiety attack because you had some personal development stuff before. Because you've learned about leadership stuff and you've educated yourself on that, now you're being vulnerable with the people around you, and so they are learning about that as well. And so like I mean, I agree with you. It's going to take some time for those things to flow through the industries, and for those types of changes to be more normal. But where do you see education fit into here? Because it seems like if everyone knew all of this stuff,
Oh yeah.
like
In our work industry, workforce will be a different place. People will be more, feeling more motivated to go to work. There won't be those Monday thing, oh, it's Monday again.
Is that something that you try and talk to people about? Is like, hey, I'm doing this because I learned about being vulnerable. I recommend that you learn about this stuff too, because it's super helpful. Is that something that you share with people? Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's one of the principles that I live by, is everything got to start with you, right? You have to show up first, and this, some of the videos I share, my experience, and share what happened, and post it in social media. It's very uncomfortable. It's not one of those things that I used to share with people, but it's like, hey, if I want to shift this, I want to make a change, and it start with me. And like you said, education. It's I see that a lot of companies, they will do the education part just for the sake of doing it. Then it's a checkbox.
Yeah.
And I see they are lacking in the follow up, and at the end of the day, it's back to the leaders to have those small conversations, right? It's like, hey, you go to work, and then your boss come to you and just want to chat about, hey, how are you doing? What did we do on the weekend? Everything good? Is there anything we can help and stuff, right? And it like I said, what I find is people at my work will come and tell me stuff that they don't tell other people. It's like, how do you know that thing? It's like, yeah, they just tell me because I'm open to them. I'm being vulnerable, and you get it back, right? I mean, you show you trust people, then people trust you back.
Yep, that's excellent.
And that's yeah, and hopefully that's thing, and yeah, you got to start somewhere. Education, obviously, it's one of those things that self-awareness. I see that, the other thing that I find really hard to teach people is being self-aware of what they are doing to other people, and if they're a leader, how they impact other people. And education, all the books, you can see all the books I'm reading. It opened up your mind to what other people do, what works, what doesn't work, and how to be a good leader, how do you actually apply it. And it opened up, your eyes to, hey, I can do this so I can connect better with other people. Or, I try to connect with these people, it doesn't work. Maybe I should try a different way, not just keep on pushing the way some people, you probably experienced it too. Some people just, oh, this is me. This is just the way I am. It's like, no, you want to connect to other people, then build a relationship. You have to adjust, and there are ways to get there. And one way is, you're right, is education. There's been a lot of people teaching about, personality and how you connect with people, how you communicate, how to be a good leader. And it's all out there. Knowledge, it's like they said, right? Knowledge, we're not short of knowledge. The knowledge is out there. It's for the people to want it, right? To want it to change. And two is, for that's the most important one, for them to really want to change. And then for the corporate is, don't do it like a checkbox. It actually helps the company as a whole if everybody work together, and it just improves the the relationship, and improve the dynamics, people being more trustworthy, and people will stay longer at the company. So you don't just look at yourself as being one of just one of those other guy and girl in the company. They talk good about people are being these most important assets, but in the application, it can use some improvement, and that's what people like me, and I'm pretty sure some other people trying to change in the industry, step up and be the change, right?
Yeah,
it's got to start with somebody, right? Might as well be you.
That's the thing.
But yeah, like you said, the knowledge is out there, the education's out there, but at least from my point of view, it's not directly taught. It doesn't get taught in grade school. It doesn't get taught in college. You have to actively go seek it. And when you're just moseying through life, you're getting your good grades, you're going to college or doing whatever trade school or whatnot, and you're working, you're feeling like everything's going okay. You get married, you have some kids, and now all of a sudden you're hit with what the hell am I doing? Why am I having anxiety? Why do I not know? Why are all these struggles popping up? Right. And you don't know how to deal with it. And all of a sudden you're met with a decision of like, I either need to go learn something somewhere, or I'm just going to sit in this facade of everything's okay for as long as I can handle it until it cracks. And for myself, I was fortunate enough, like, gosh, I don't even know how many years ago, but I was approached for some, multi-level marketing business back in when I was in college. All thoughts about companies aside, what they taught was personal growth, self-improvement. There was that whole arm of entrepreneurship, leadership, mindset, all of these things I would never have run into unless I had been exposed to that. And I'm not affiliated with the company anymore and haven't been for a while, but that sense of lifelong learning, that sense of wanting to improve and get better has always been a part of me since then. And it just seems like for a lot of people in my current situation where you're a father in your late 20s, early 30s, you're trying to really provide for your family, keep the ship together, be the rock for everybody, and you're just pulled in so many different directions and on emotional overload. When you don't have the tools necessary to facilitate all of those feelings and how to be vulnerable and how to find people to talk to, like it can be a dark place. And I struggle with how to not necessarily wake people up, but make it completely normal for when you're laying bricks out on the job with the guy next to you to be like, hey, do you ever deal with this? Does this ever happen to
Yeah.
you? And not necessarily go seek out a professional service that a company offers, like, as you know, the all the stigma that comes along with going to see
Yeah.
the shrink and
Yes.
whatnot. But like, how do we cultivate that community of, hey, the guy working next to me is going through the same shit I am?
Hmm.
How does that conversation start?
Yeah. Somebody got to start it, right? Like you said, it's
Well, you're
and
starting it, Hardy. So
yeah, that's the thing. Somebody got to start it. I hope there'll be more people that, you come out and talk about this kind of stuff out in the open. And that's kind of one of the things that I try to do, right? With going out and reaching out and get the message out. Is that thing about, you know, for me, this anxiety attack was the paradigm shift, right? It happens, and good thing for me, it shifted me to this place that, hey, I get out of it. Now I want to help other people with it and not give up. And the message I try to get out to everyone is, don't wait till that time, till that something, you know, happen. If you can, it's some people will need that thing, for them to like, oh, now I need to, like you said, that's how I need to awake and do something different. Um, and some people I understand that some people just need that for them to take action. But for some other people, if you hear the message, and if you already kind of can see that your life is going somewhere, your work's going somewhere that you don't want to go, then start doing something about it. Like the one company, I share a story with you. Like one of the first company I work with, the culture is work. Like everybody is work. They'll come to the weekend, they just work. And when you are in that kind of culture, you feel bad when you're leaving work in the normal hours because everybody else still at work. Like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, people still there. I don't know what they do, that they're chugging away or they're just being inefficient, but they're there. And that's just the culture. And then when you say, I'm done with my work for the day, you're trying to go, you felt bad. It's like, oh, it felt like I'm not part of the team. And eventually, after a while, and the other thing is all the leaders, I heard the stories. It was like they've been in their second marriage, or they're divorced, or they have issue with this and
oh
that. And it's
wow.
like, yeah, I don't, I don't want to see myself there. I kill myself to get to that place. I was like, okay, so I guess I need to shift. Right? It's not easy, shift, and but that's what they come back to. If you have the skill, then there are things out there, there are opportunities out there. You can change. You just have to plan for it, and yeah, there are better opportunities out there. But you're never gonna find it unless you try. And that's the thing. If you already see yourself going to places that you don't want to go, then make the change. Make the change. Life is your time. That's the other thing. People think that, like, we started the conversation with people just gonna work, 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 work till they cannot work anymore. It's like, you want to enjoy life, right? It's like, because time is not on our side.
Right.
That's the thing that, every time I go to a funeral, friend passed away or somebody we know passed away, it's always come back to, it's like, yeah, it's time is short and we don't know. We just don't know when we're gonna get called. It's like, hey, your time is up. And that's the thing. It's one of those things that's like, when you want to start making the change, right? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna work my ass off and I'm not gonna pay attention to my health and I'm gonna when am I retired or when are this, and then I'm gonna do this. It's like work never ends. The work never gonna ends, and that's the
Yep.
thing. But life will. So when are you gonna start paying attention to it, right? It's one of my
Maybe
thing. Yeah.
maybe that's why these companies don't teach personal development as a part of their like HR things, because if they did educate their employees on how to develop themselves personally, they would be gone. They would do their own thing. They would get outside in the world and do something different. So I'm just putting my tinfoil hat on, a little devil on my shoulder. Like, I mean, it makes sense though, because we talked about education, how that's an important part of learning to make those changes and to figure out what it is that you want to do in life. But so many people are trapped in this cycle of work. And part of that is they're not getting taught the way that they should about personal development and leadership and things within the workplace. And so, maybe that's for a reason. Maybe these corporations are just checking the box so they can keep all their employees there.
Oh yeah, it could be too, but that could be also on the other end is if you teach them how to be more productive, how to have a better life and how you can balance your work and your life and how you communicate, have a better
Sure.
relationship and all that stuff, right? You probably keep them longer too.
Oh
It could
yeah.
work both ways, right? A company look after their people, I see that there's a lot of benefit to it. Obviously, people, like I said, not everyone built for entrepreneurship. It's tough. I think a lot of people they probably be more comfortable going to work and get a paycheck than like us pushing, and hustling. It's not built for everyone, and then, but if that's a life for people that want to hustle, then I guess you teach them something, and at the end of the day, if they're gonna go, eventually they're gonna go. Do you want to have employee that miserable coming to work every day, right? Or do you just you want people that will actually perform? It's like what was that quote they're saying is like if you don't train your people, do you want to train your people so you can smart and go away, or do you don't want to train your people and then you got all those people that are not trained working for you, right?
Yeah.
If they're gonna go anyway.
Yep. For sure.
So yeah, and all right, like I would prefer the idea is to have the conversation. That's why I tried to reach out to our HR and tried to reach out all the HR, people, try to connect with them, say, hey, we can have a talk and see how we can improve the uh, uh, the well-being, I guess, of your employee. And once you can help them, the idea is if you show them that you care enough about not just their performance at work, but also their life, then they'll stay longer and they'll perform better. And yeah, hopefully a conversation happens. That's the thing. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to reach either a corporate or, ideally the people that are working and take the ownership. If the company is not helping you, then you take the ownership. Like it's your life at the end of the day. Like and go and
Yeah.
search for it. There's a bunch of all this training out there. As I said, the knowledge, like we talk about the education right now, it's everywhere. It's so easy to the audio book or books. At the end of the day, you have to apply it. And then another thing that I realize that makes the difference for my life is having the community um, that of people that are doing the same thing, going through the same struggle. And like you said, Tyler, it's like, hey, the people next to me are dealing with the same issues. That I'm not alone, right? It's like I'm not the weirdos that have this issue by myself. Everyone is dealing with their own thing. Then it feels like you're not alone. You have hope. He's like, yeah, let's get through this together, kind of thing. And also another thing that really helps me is to have a coach, somebody that have a totally different perspective. They're there being present, just provide the space for me to talk, and they show they see the more in me than I see for myself. When the time was like, hey, I'm gonna quit. It seems like this is not working. It's like, no, but you try that and that part worked, this part didn't. So why don't we just tweak that and continue doing this part? Having that outside perspective really helps. And the education. Like I said, there's three part. I always look at it as a three part: the education and the community, and somebody there, a mentor, a coach, somebody you can talk to that guide you through it.
Mentor is huge. I mean, yes, we had like listen to close family members, our parents or our siblings or whatever, but having someone that is in the space or in the field that you want to get into that is helping you out and mentoring you, uh, to what you're saying, like more people need to have mentors.
Yeah.
They need to find one and hold them tight.
Yeah, that's nice, especially if you find one that you can connect with and understand you, that it takes a while to find those people, but
Oh
they're
yeah.
out there. They're out there. And they're out there. Like for me, I didn't, I when I start training to become a coach, I was still have my day job and I could not do the practice. And just keep on searching until 3 years ago, found this company in Australia. And because their time zone is so different than ours, so I'll come home from work and train. They're
Nice.
out there. If you really, that's what people say, like if you have a big enough why, the how, you'll figure out the how and the what. You'll figure it out. Yes, it takes a while, but that's the thing. It's it's been a journey. That thing, that's one of those things. Like one of my coaches always say, the goal, whatever that big goal you have, it's like a distant star, not a distant shore, and
Mm,
you have to accept that you're not gonna get there because you're gonna get to where you think your goal is, but then once you get there, there's another goal,
right.
and it's just a continuous journey. So it's a distant stars on a distant shore. You're never gonna get there. Just accept that truth, but just keep, it's a worth it journey. It's a worthwhile journey. And another thing that I wrote yesterday in preparation for this today is that what was the thing I wrote now? The something that oh yeah, back to the message about don't do life on your own. Like John Maxwell said, right? You want to do something big. One is too small of a number.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's the deal with building community, reaching out to others, being vulnerable, and everything that you're doing. So it sounds like
yes.
even though you went through some shit, you're definitely on a track to help a lot of people. So we appreciate it.
Yes, it's no, thank you. And thank you for providing, the avenue like this, to get the message out. So I really appreciate you guys been doing this. I listened to some of the other podcasts and yeah, everyone, a lot of people have gone through stuff and they have message. And if people just search for it, they'll find it. Like easy Googling and stuff. And that's the thing, getting the message out there that yeah, there's help, and you don't have to do your life on your own. Other people are the same thing, and it's just the social media don't show it that way, right? So everybody just posts their good stuff.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
true.
I know. I feel like though there's a huge power in having it uh come from leaders in the workplace that people go to every day, right? You have, like you were just saying, there's all the social media accounts that tell you how to do this and do that and make it seem like it's effortless and it's going to happen tomorrow for you if you start today. But if these things are that we've been talking about are normalized from normal guys, bosses in the workplace, like how to have these conversations that, I mean, you said something early on, Hardy, that was like, no, let's talk about you. How are you doing today? I don't care about work. Don't tell me about your spreadsheets that you filled out this morning. No, like how are you doing? And so I feel like all that's wrapped up into that what you call holistic leadership, right? That well-being that's important in all of the high stress, work environments that so many people are a part of. I guess what I think I have a good definition of what you mean by when you say holistic leadership, but if you could just lay it out easily for at least my small brain to understand what you mean and what holistic leadership encompasses and why and how it's so important for that to infiltrate into the corporate world, construction world, golf course world, all of the different spheres?
Yeah, for me, approaching it, is to look at, say, your colleague, your coworker, not just a coworker, they're also human. And as a human, it's everything. That's why something that I would like to teach people too, is to look at it not just, hey, to teach people how to be productive at work, but build that connection. They're human. They have challenges. Their finances, their relationship, their health, their social connection, how's their life outside of work, and that all. If you treat people like a human being, and especially if you're a leader, they'll look at you as a leader that they can that cares. I pull a lot of John Maxwell quotes, but there's another one that come up, right? He's saying like people, you cannot ask for people's hand until you touch their heart. Like people don't care. Or if he's saying like people, you got to show people that you care and that you care first.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that people don't care how much you know until then you
how much you
care.
care. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that's the thing. And if you touch people's heart and you show them you genuinely care about them, that's the leadership, right? It's not like all this technical, you have an agenda, you talk to people a certain way because you have an agenda, you want them to work harder and stuff, right? If you just being genuine, really cares about your people, they'll stay longer, they're thinking twice about quitting. And they'll perform better because like, hey, I have this place where I go and I'm treated as a human, and they really genuinely care. Salary, yeah, paycheck is one of those things, right? Like if you're treated well in a company, you're probably not think twice quitting, even if other company, offer to try to pay you more.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think now more than ever, people my age and even a little bit that younger, they're hungry for validation. They're hungry to feel valued in the workplace, whatever it is, the job that they're doing, because they can go find it anywhere. There's so many different avenues to where people can add value to other people's lives or feel like they're doing something purposeful. And when they're sitting at a desk or they're going out on a job and they just feel like a number on a balance sheet, it's super easy, I feel like, for them to walk away. And then you get, and I'm speaking more golf course world right now, but then you get the guys that have been superintendents in the industry for 20, 30, 40 years that are like, well, none of these kids want to work anymore, they're all lazy. And it's like, no, they just want to feel like a human. They want to feel like what they're doing matters, or it gives something to a bigger picture. If you give them that, they're going to work their ass off. And I've seen that time and time again at other golf courses that I've been at. You give people a reason to be there and make them feel valued. That's all that they want. And I think with what you're saying, like it's perfect timing for that. It's like, listen, the people running these companies, the people running the golf courses, the people running the construction agencies and companies, they need to come meet those people there. Otherwise, their workforce, their culture, and then their company will eventually die.
Yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, some of this company are so big, right? It's one of those conglomerate that they survive and they don't care because, like I said, it's one of those company that they don't need you per se. So like they don't really care if you quit and move on to another company. And that's why, unfortunately, like they're saying, right, that a lot of people quit their company not because of the work, it's because the people who manage them.
Yep.
It's so unfortunate. And I experienced it myself too many times. The reason I quit is not the work. The work is the work. The company is the company. It's the people that you deal with. And yeah, right. Like those older people, I've met a lot of them, right? In the construction, you meet all those older people. Like, oh, they're just how they've been doing it, and it worked for them. And now we got all this kids coming in out of college and out of university, and out of the traits and then do things differently. There's, oh, this is how you do it. You have to do it this way, you know? And they're all complaining. It's like, no, it's just different way to do it now. In the old days, you don't have all this thing. You deal with safety and quality, all the environment you got to deal with, and all this other stuff. And now you got to think about them all, and people are different now.
Yeah, it's that revolving door of the weak men create hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men, right? Like I definitely don't with what I said there, I don't want to absolve, the younger-ish generation from some bad habits or bad work ethics, because that's definitely out there and can be
it
a part
is.
of that culture 100%. But
It does.
it works both ways.
Yep.
Yeah. I find it in our industry right now, in my industry, I find it, like you say, it's hard to find the younger generation that come into an industry that really want to, get their hands dirty, and, it's like really hard to find those people. It's, I guess, just the mentality and all the society and the culture is so different right now, and their expectation is so different that they come into nursery like, oh, oh, I got to do that, and then 3 days later they quit. It's like, I don't go
What's
to
this, a
school to do all
shovel?
this
I
stuff. Yeah,
don't
what is
what do I
this?
do with a shovel?
Got to do this. So when you got like the good kid that to come in and want to get their hands dirty, it's like, oh, at least hire for attitude, right? It's like then the rest of them you can train. Oh yeah, it is challenging. I'm telling you, the industry is challenging right now, and also with AI right now, we'll see how things goes.
Fortunately, I feel like most construction jobs or construction manual labor type jobs will be safe for a time, because really, like, I don't think you can have a construction site that's totally AI right now. Maybe in
Yeah.
like 15, 20 years when they actually build the equipment necessary for that. Maybe, but I think we've got some time, but AI
Time is
is
coming.
yeah.
I went to
Oh yeah.
my university when my son was trying to apply into the department there. They are working on like the robotics thing
Oh
too.
yeah.
You can program them, you can give them input, and they just do the work.
Oh, they're 3D printing houses. They're doing a lot of stuff with AI and different things. My thought is like the
Oh, the hard work,
normal,
labor. Yeah.
yeah, the normal building of a house that we see, or a plumber coming into your home, or an electrician or whatever. Those jobs, it's going to take a little while for AI to figure
Yes.
that one out. So we're okay on that one.
But that's the thing, I told my kids, right? Like I have 3 kids, and told them like you need to do something more now, especially with the AI. If you just want to be, easy part, those are gone. AI will take over those one easy,
Yep.
and every company will rather have AI with them than hire people with all the headaches. So I think HR and payroll and everything.
Yep. Very
They
true.
can just tell AI what to do and it's done. So they have a different challenge in with them.
Well, hopefully they learn from leaders like yourself, learn how to better themselves, and even with AI, they'll still be able to find a place where they feel wanted and they like going to work. It's going to change.
Yeah.
AI is going to change a lot of things, but we have the right tools right now to help the next generation figure that out.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like when we had the internet. It's like, oh, everybody was like, oh, internet, you're gonna take over jobs
Yeah,
and stuff. So now it's AI, gonna take over. Yeah, I think that there will be places for people, and it's just a challenge for them. They need to do something different now and use it as a tool, and don't get left behind, because it seems like it's staying.
oh yeah. I think it's going to do more than stay.
Just ask Will Smith.
Yes, who'll see, like, nobody can predict the future, right? Back to I tell my son, like, who can see there was time when everybody's going to computer science. Like he's like, oh, that's the future. Everybody doing programming, everybody doing this, and now like you see everything that's going on with the industry, like Google, they're laying off people, like Amazon. You know,
Tons of layoffs this
nobody
year.
knows the future. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Nobody knows what's the future. It's just as long as you have the good attitude, you have the good mindset. that, whatever come up, hey, we'll go through it. We'll figure something out. We'll make it, we'll make it work. And yeah, you have kids, Tyler. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, man, your kid is still young. My kid's like university, and they have their own challenges. It's like, oh, there's so many options right now. What am I gonna do? Right. And they're all confused. Like, what if I don't like it? What if it doesn't work? At the end of the day, that's why back to, I stick around in the construction industry. It's like not because I know what civil engineering was when I first get in there. It's just because when I picked it, it is like my mindset is whatever it is, I'll make it work. Right. And it ended up working out. And now I'm like at a different place that, I work now. I work more for, get the job done and work. I don't care what the company is really. It's just you show up and you have a challenge in front of you. You got a project you need to build, and you build it. Make sure everybody's safe. You make the money and you perform. And then you build your brand. That's the thing. Like right now, it's like a bunch of friends everywhere that know my work attitude. And that's the important thing. Like you show that you can do the work and you're never gonna worry about you don't have a job. And things change too. Life change. You never know. And focus on the present, what's in front of you. And then that's the other thing that I wrote down is that, a lot of people, they worry about my biggest fear is that I'm gonna be at the end of my life and looking back and say I haven't tried it.
Yep.
I was like, I learned all this stuff and I haven't given it a shot, and now time is up. Right. That's my biggest worry is like, and I haven't shown my kids what his dad can do, what their dad can do, what they themselves can model. Right. And that is why keep on pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, keep on growing. And a lot of times it's not for me, really. It's more like for my kids, and a lot of things that, I find that I'll do more for them than for myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you just, yeah, you just want to be the best example you can, right? Show them what's possible. You're the one that they see most often, right? Well, hopefully anyway, as
Yeah.
that father figure, and um, just being the best you can. I agree with you. I'm afraid of the same thing. Yeah. I'd add on to that is, looking down the road later on, and just being able to like see, that look in one of your kids' eyes. It's like, you know what, Dad, I feel like you could have done more. Feel like you could have done something else or something a bit better. You should have tried what, made your eyes light up when I was 10. Right. And that stuff I think is what keeps you going. So I know we appreciate, what you do. We appreciate the message you're talking about and trying to get out there, and we want to do the same thing. So I know we're pretty much at the end of an hour already somehow. Where can people find you find your stuff, find your videos that you're making? Where can people touch base and connect with you?
I have my YouTube channel. It's just Hardy Antolis. That's the channel username. And another place is LinkedIn. I use a lot of it in LinkedIn. And I continue trying to put myself out there, post videos, working on some programs right now, training program to help people improve their work and life. Because I know the two of them kind of go hand in hand. They kind of just improve their life and then not their work, or improve their work, not their life. And working on that, trying to get it out there, and also working on several other things. I think I have my 5-day challenge coming up, working on that to get people to redefine. I call it redefining this definition of their work and their life, and try to figure out who they are, starting at their foundation. A lot of I find people's fear is they never started because they worry about what if they started something and it's the wrong thing. And that's why I always take them back to like, let's figure out especially for busy people like us, parents, we don't have time, and we want to do the right thing, right? Start with the right thing. So that's why it's like, yeah, let's look at you first. Let's start with you, and then we'll build up that. And yeah, so that's where people can find me.
Sweet.
And I don't really appreciate you take the opportunity, I guess, for you guys to provide this podcast, interviewing other people as well that have the same message. So I really want to acknowledge both of you for that, for doing it.
Well, thank you. Well, yeah,
Thank
thanks for the time today, and we'll keep you posted on all the technical details. But we appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Yeah.